I'm teaching you how to do a cat introduction correctly over a series of videos, and this step is a big one. This is going to vary drastically from most other sources, but you'll get better results, as this one is one of the most important and challenging parts of the whole process. Honestly, it's also where a lot of people end up with an introduction gone wrong. We're talking the process of removing the gate so the cats can be in the same room as each other. Yes, I said this is a process. You're not just going to go from gate to pure freedom, or pure chaos as the case may be, in one go. We're doing this carefully because you're likely weeks or months into the process currently, and you don't want to have a setback. That's just bad at this point. You'll throw a lot of work out the window. I call this part melting the gate because much like an ice cube melting into water, that change doesn't happen all at once. At the end, I have a really helpful but optional step if you're nervous about fully removing the gate and having the cats in the same room as each other. First, let's confirm that your cats are ready for this part. The cats should have something like playing or favorite toy or clicker training, a behavior that is incompatible with bolting towards the other cat, ready to go, and very, very well trained. If you're thinking of using a harness or putting your cat in a playpen, your cat isn't ready, unless you plan on keeping them in the harness or playpen forever. Plus, these methods can cause more stress for the cats because they may feel trapped or restricted in movement. Your goal is to keep this fun and positive for the cats. They aren't learning anything by being restrained. Likewise, unless you plan on just holding your cat the entire time they're out in the same room as the other cat, probably not a good idea to use that strategy. The cats also need to be not staring at each other and no hissing or growling. Seriously, none. If they are, you're taking a huge risk that they're not ready. Because we're not going to have as many safety structures in place, you need to be prepared to break up a cat fight. I'll make a whole video on how to do that, but the safest thing to do is take something like a large, sturdy, and flat cardboard box or some other item and gently insert it between the cats. You may need to pry them apart if things are getting really bad. This is better than my least favorite intervention, a spray bottle, as it isn't going to startle them and risk increasing arousal. The arousal increase may lead them to aggress more. The cardboard also has another huge benefit in that it physically blocks the cats from getting to each other, so it's much safer. You need to be prepared to move the cardboard around if the cats try and go at it. If you find that hard, the solution still isn't the spray bottle. Get a bigger box or tape two boxes together. Again, there are other things you can do, but I'm going to make that as a separate video because I'm wearing winter clothing and it's getting warm. I'm actually melting right now. Whew. I have a blog on what to do that I'll link in the description as well. Oh God, my hair. Whatever. No one's here because of my stunning good looks. Ideally though, you shouldn't need this. If you're doing this correctly, the cats shouldn't be fighting. This is basically there as an emergency. If a fight does keep happening, you probably want to hire a professional to tell you what to do in your individual situation because it's gonna be really hard to figure it out on your own. Back to the gate melting though, because again, I really need to take off the rest of this. This part isn't done all at once, so you're going to be doing this over a series of separate meetings. To start, get your cats distracted and having a good time with the gate between them. You or someone helping you should go over and just lightly start touching the gate. Not making a ton of noise, but just lightly give it a little poke. Lightly pet it a little. Your cat should not react to that. And that part is really, 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 really important. Do not keep moving on until your cats don't care about what you're doing with the gate. As your cats get used to you fiddling with the gate, you can start fiddling with the latch. Don't open it all the way though. If you're using a screen with a zipper, you can basically just use the zipper instead. Basically, what you're using as a barrier, start fiddling with it, whatever it is, and gradually work your way towards opening the door or the barrier ever so slightly. Your cat should be distracted the whole time, and doing something such as clicker training or playing or getting brushed or getting attention or whatever it is that you're doing. Just not feeding them near each other. This part helps the cats have something to do, and they learn that it's not a big deal if the door opens, so no need to rush through it. Plus, if you use clicker training, you can directly teach them that doing something else is rewarding and fun. As for what to do with clicker training, there's a lot of flexibility. Stationing or targeting using a target stick works really well. A pattern game such as Super Bowls from Leslie McDevitt's Control Unleashed also works really well. Honestly, it really depends on your cats. A lot of behaviors can work for this part as long as you're specific in what you're clicking for. Don't just click for good behavior because your cats aren't going to understand that. Cats don't have a sense of morality. They're amoral, not immoral, amoral, which means that they don't have morality. They don't understand the concept of good or bad. Be specific with what you click for. Next, we're going to get the cats used to the gate being opened a few inches at a time. Always stopping if the cats seem a bit too interested in the gate. To start, you want to open the gate and close it quickly again, only going a few inches. Once both cats have proven with their behavior that they won't burst through the gate at least 3 successful sessions in a row, you can open it a little bit more and repeat it until the gate is fully open. Remember, you are opening the gate and immediately closing it for this part. Don't hold it open because your cats haven't proven with their behavior yet that they're ready for that. This is to get the cats used to the gate being opened and minimize the risk of one cat deciding that they want to just keep going. If at any point one of the cats tries to run through the opening, immediately close it, or if needed, stick cardboard in front of the gate to block it, and next time open it a little bit less. You want to give the cats a nice long break, as clearly they're a bit too aroused for this to work. When will you hold it open, Joey? Great question. That's actually the next part, so good work on that one. 2 ways to do this. The more cautious approach would be going back to the beginning and opening the gate just a little bit. Each time you do this, hold it open just a little bit longer. You can gradually open it a bit more and again, increase the amount of time you hold it open. Just don't be too aggressive with increasing either one, because the more rapidly you increase both of them at the same time, the less likely it is that your cats are fully habituated to the gates being opened. If your cats have both proven with their behavior that they aren't going to run through the gate, you can try the other approach of opening the gate all the way and holding it open for a bit longer before closing it. This approach is riskier, but in some cases it works out. There are different ways to accomplish the same goal, so you have to figure out what's right for you and your cats. Remember, let them prove with their behavior what they're ready for and what they're going to do. Even then, don't be too trusting, because cats still gonna cat sometimes, and sometimes they do things that surprise us. Looking at you, Poutine and Prozac. Now, you want to have the cats continue doing this style of meeting. Get the cats distracted doing something like training or playing with a toy, opening the gate and keeping it open while still keeping them distracted, ideally at a distance from each other, but do your best, and keep them occupied so they don't run at each other. The reason you don't want to have them do that yet is that it could scare the other cat, and you'd have done all of this hard work for nothing, or you have to repeat it. You're giving the cats an opportunity to feel really comfortable around each other and learn what to do instead of running at each other this way. What if your cats are struggling with this? Try moving backwards first. Yes, that includes even if you really don't want to. I know, I tend to be kind of a fun killer and a Debbie Downer with these situations, but it's a sign that whichever cat isn't ready for whatever you're asking them to do needs more time. Either use a gate a bit longer or shorten your sessions. It really depends on what you're struggling with. In some cases, you may just need to switch or change your approach. Switch to a different toy, play with the toy differently, think hitting it against something or moving it under something to get the cat's attention back on the toy, or train using a different behavior. If you're using clicker training, it doesn't mean it's not going to work. It just means that the cat may need you to move backwards and take a slightly different approach. You really need to train the cat separately and ahead of time and make sure they're really good at the behavior before it's gonna work. They may not have been ready for doing the behavior in a high distraction environment. Work with them separately without the other cat in view and get them really good at the behavior. The more times you repeat a behavior, the better the cat is going to understand it. Remember, you shouldn't expect this to be a quick process. While some cats are instantly besties, that isn't the norm, and trying to do this while ignoring the well-being of the cats isn't acceptable. In a lot of cases, skipping this results in the cats having a lifelong problem with each other. You'll have lifelong tension, and it's not actually normal for cats to constantly fight with each other. That really shouldn't be our standard. At this point, before you're ready to keep going, your cat should be able to do something else or even choose to walk away from each other. You can decide if you want to do the final optional step before moving on to the next part. This part is really helpful, and I cannot emphasize enough how much I suggest doing it. This part is especially helpful if you have cats that are really wild or if you are really nervous, because even if you don't need to do it for your particular cats, it's not going to hurt anything to do this extra step. I call it playing the in and out game or gate dancing. I apologize for that terrible dancing. This is clearly not a dancing channel, in addition to not being a smut channel. You can do this either with a toy, or if your cat is clicker trained, get them to follow a target, or play a pattern game like Super Bowls, or the Whiplash turn game. You can use a lot of things for this part. The gate dance is done separately with the cats, one at a time. The other cat should be safely out of view and in a separate room, and shouldn't be able to get into the space that you're in with your cat that you're working on this with. Grab your toy and open the gate. Begin by getting the cat to play across the gate, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Have them go across the threshold and then go back, across and back, across and back. Very repetitive, well, this part's actually kind of fun. Less boring than some other parts. You can gradually get them to go further and further from the gate and further away from their safe space, but always bring them back. This teaches them that the other side of the gate really isn't that exciting and they should just follow the toy. Plus, it gives you a gauge of how likely they are to dart. If they do dart, it's a sign that you're probably not ready to keep moving on to having the cats be in the same room as each other. If you're using training, you can either have them use a target stick to have the cat follow the target and walk through the gate back and forth, back and forth, back and forth using the target stick, or present the target stick on either side, back and forth. Have the cat do basically the same thing with play, where you work with them to walk back and forth between each side of the gate. The Whiplash turn game is used to do essentially the same thing, back and forth across the gate. For Super Bowls, play the game with one bull on each side of the gate and move them further apart. If needed, do this with 3 or 4 bulls. Basically, as always, listen to your cat. Optional step or not, next up is a big, exciting part. We are taking a big step in getting the cats in the same room as each other. It's going to be a cat party, so be excited for the next part. You're almost there.